Hello everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to do a Notion basics training so that you can get familiar with Notion, learn everything that you need to know about Notion in order to start using it. So let's dive on in. As you can see here, we're going to be covering Notion's menus, so just having a look around and making sure that you know how to navigate around Notion. Then we're going to go through the workspaces and pages. Then we're going to go through databases, and then we're going to customize some page layouts. So it's really just covering the bare minimum today so that you can find your way around and set up your own workspace and start using it. Because the more you use it, the more familiar you become with everything and the better you will be using it. And then you'll be able to do more advanced things. So we're going to dive into that in a minute. I just wanted to quickly introduce myself for those who don't know me. So my name is Liz. I used to be a quality assurance manager. Then I worked as a customer service manager, specializing in customer feedback and complaints and resolving those. Lately, I've been working as an operations manager for an online business, and so I know the importance of having good systems in place. I do love Notion, mainly because it's so flexible and customizable, so you can make it suit your business. So the main reason that I'm here is because I want to help other business owners to set up their own systems, and I think that Notion is a really good way to do that. So in order to get started, I want you to have open your Notion account. If you don't have one, I will drop a link in the description below. You can just click through on that to create a Notion account. Feel free to pause this video at any time if you need to catch up, or if you want to replay it, feel free to go back and forwards as needed. And if you have any questions or need any support, or you just want to come and join my community, please do so. The link is just here. So you'll be able to join as well. And I'll put it in the comments as well and the description. So basically in my community, I will be having some workshops to teach you how to create actual different parts in Notion, so maybe like content calendars or anything that the community wants. I'm going to get people to tell me what they need, and we're going to do some workshops together just to create them and so that you know exactly how to make things. So that's what is happening over there. All right, so now we're ready to dive on in. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is navigate up to this menu here that says Settings and Members. So when you click on this, you can flick through all of these different settings down here on the left. So basically you've got your My Account, which you can change the name here. You can change your email or password. And if you want to have that two-step verification, you can turn that on. I personally don't turn it on because I find it a pain having my mobile, getting messages and having to put in codes, and I find that messy. But it's probably a lot safer to do it. Under settings here, you could then have appearance. So if you want to have the dark screen, the dark mode, or the light mode, you can flick between the two. That's where you change it. You can also choose, once you have your workspace set up, you can choose what page that you want it to open up on. So you can come back at some point and select this. So if you select top page in sidebar, it's going to put whatever's the first page that you have in your workspace as your main sort of home page to come to. I would toggle this on so it automatically saves your time zone. So that's under date and time. And then you can have it record your history, because that's helpful, because if you make a mistake and you need to change anything, you'll be able to see where something's gone wrong and you can fix it. Then under notifications, you can turn off if you don't want daily emails sent to you. I strongly advise you to turn this off, because there's nothing worse than looking into your emails and you've got 100 notifications from Notion. So it will send you notifications for any change that's happened in Notion unless you turn these toggles off. So I personally go through and turn them off. You can also turn this one off. I don't have anyone sharing this workspace with me, so this one doesn't bother me. I don't get any mentions or anything like that in this workspace, so I've left that one on. But if I was sharing with somebody else, I would probably toggle that off so that I only get notifications in Notion when I'm logged in, rather than getting so many emails that I can't read them all. Under My Connections, you can see what you have connected. You can also set up any connections. I'm pretty sure it's under this connections one down here. So there's lots of things that you can integrate in with Notion. So you've got Google Drive and you've got Slack. You can also link up to Zapier. You can also link up to Make. You could link up to Figma here, which is a design program. There's lots of different things that you can connect. So you can have a look through connections and see if there's anything that you use that you could connect up to Notion to make it easier for yourself. Under Language and Region, you can select your language here. Of course, I'm leaving it in English. Start the week on Monday. If this is toggled on, it will start on Monday. If it's toggled off, your week will start on a Sunday. So it just depends on personal preference there. Then under Settings, if you wanted to change the domain name for your Notion workspace, you can change that here. You can add your logo here if you wanted to as an icon. If you have a team that are going to be joining you, you can add in your work URL, so your domain, so at yourwebsite.com. You could add that in here, and anyone that has that same ending on their email address will automatically be accepted into the workspace. For team spaces, if you don't have other people on your team, this probably won't apply to you, but if you wanted to add anybody to your team, you can create a new workspace here, and then you go to People, and then you can just add members here, or you can send them this link which will automatically invite them to your Notion workspace. Under Upgrade, you can see all the different plans. So as you can see, the free one is free forever as long as you don't need to upgrade for any of these extra reasons. So it only keeps 7 days of history in the free plan. You can connect up to 70 different integrations, which is amazing. But there is a limit, I believe, on the file amount that you can upload. So I personally have the Plus version because I have 2 accounts. So I have this one that I'm showing you in today to do this training, which I also share templates from. But I also have my own business one that I use as well. So in my business one, I have the Plus account. In the one that I'm sharing templates from, I only use that one myself. I don't have a team with that one, so I only use the free version in there. Now, Sites is anything that you have shared online. Security speaks for itself, but it is mainly for Plus and Enterprise users, as you can see here. And same for this identity and provisioning. Don't need to worry about those. So Connections is where you could have your connections added. You can browse the connections in the gallery here. And also if you wanted to import any information, so let's just say you have a CRM in a different program, you could download all of your information or your contact information as a CSV file and then import it in, and that would put it into a database, and you could map out what data you want in here from there. The same from all of these different places. So you could import information from Trello or Monday or whatever you're using. So that's basically this settings section here. So there are other settings to look at as well, and I'm going to show you those now. So first of all, this is your main menu down here on the left. You can use these this close sidebar option up here with these 2 little arrows. So you click that in, it will disappear, and then to get it back open, you just go up the top, and when you go over the hamburger menu, you see that it's got those arrows again to pull it back out. So that's all you need to do there. Now, you can create a team space here by clicking on New Team Space. and then that will give you a heading, and then it'll look like, you know, a blank page that you could fill in like this. So this is actually a workspace. You can also add private workspaces in here. So private ones, if you share your workspace with a team, they don't get to see anything that's under private. They only get to see the team space that you share with them. You also have down here the calendar, which is a new feature for Notion. So this calendar is very similar to like a Google Calendar, and you can link in your tasks or projects or whatever database in Notion that you want to link in with it, you can. I haven't really used this calendar too much, to be honest, because I've seen mixed reviews about it, so I haven't really tested it out, but it is definitely there for you to use. Likewise, there's this section here for templates. So if you want to quickly pull together some templates, you could go and grab some free ones that are in the Notion library, or there's some paid ones in there as well that might be good to get you up and running quickly. So they're all options for you as well. Now, when you actually have a workspace open like this, you also have different menu options up here. So on the right hand side here, you've got share. So basically, if you wanted to share your workspace with somebody, this is where you share it from. This is if anyone comments on the workspace itself, you'll see comments here. If you want to see all updates, any changes that people have made to your workspace, you can click there. If you want to add this to your favorites, just click here and you'll see it appear up here under the favorites header. And then if you unclick that, it disappears. And the three dots here are giving you options on the layout for your page. So basically, if you look at this font here, you can change it here to these different options and you'll see all of the writing updates. But I find that this writing is very outdated and ugly, so I just leave it on the default. You also have this small text option, so if you look at the text on the screen, when I hit this, you can see it does shrink it down quite substantially, so I just leave that off because I don't really like the small text because I wear glasses. And also you've got this option to have a full page or not. Now, I don't really like everything squished up. I like a full page. So I always toggle this on for every page that I create, just so that I've got that full layout. You can also lock a page. So if you come in here and lock the page, maybe before you share a page with somebody, they won't be able to edit anything without going in to unlock it. And that means that they can't accidentally delete things. You can also copy links to things, duplicate, move pages to different workspaces. This is really important, this section here, because you can see the view edit history. And so when this comes up, if there's a previous version and you need to go back to it, you can click on it and you can restore that version. So if you accidentally make a mistake and you're not sure how to fix it, that is one way to do that. And you can also see the analytics of the page and see, you know, who's been in there, who's edited anything, what's been happening in there. You can also turn on notifications, like if you want to see anything that happens on this particular workspace, you can put all comments here and you will see everything. You've also got the option to import and export from your workspace here. So again, this is importing data like CSV files, etc. Or if you wanted to export information, once you've got your workspace all set up, you can do that here. And you could export something as a complete PDF or a CSV file yourself. You also have this connections option down here. So this is mainly for your automation sort of links. So you could link to Zapier, you've got Typeform, or you've got Make or Bardeen. So you've got all of those sort of automation tools that you could connect to there if you use those. So that's the main menus and how you navigate Notion. Now, the next part about navigating Notion is actually the menus on a page. So as I said before, these are the workspaces. So this one here is Notion for Beginners, the workspace. But if I wanted to create another workspace, I could go here. Sorry. I could go here to Teamspace and I could just hit that, and I could create a new workspace and decide, you know, what I want to have here, whether it's going to be a closed workspace, a private workspace, or an open workspace. I leave mine as open because it's only people that are in my team that are going to see it. And then you just name it and put a bit of details in there, and you can hit create Teamspace or workspace. And then that will show over here. And then underneath that, so once you have a workspace, you can just hit the plus, and then you would open up a page like this. So I'm going to be using this page as our example, so I'm not going to create any new pages, but just that's how you would add a page. And then if you wanted to add a page inside of this, you could hit the plus sign here, or you can add it into this section here. So that's just a little bit about workspaces and pages. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to edit this page. So once you are in a page, if you click anywhere on the page, you will see that you have this little menu turn up here. So you've got a menu where those 6 dots are that you can click on. Let's move me out of the way so we can see. So you can see here, this is the menu. So you can ask AI a question. You can delete, duplicate, turn into any of these on the list, turn into a page and put it into these different sections. You can copy a link to a block, move to, or you can change colors. So that's the 6-dot menu. Beside the 6-dot menu, we've got a plus sign. So on the plus sign, you get this menu. Now on this menu, you do get a few more options. So on this one, you can add images and web bookmarks. You can embed videos, audio. So if you wanted to embed a Spotify playlist, for instance, you could do that with audio. If you want to embed a link, you can do that here. So let's just say you wanted to embed a Google sheet that you use all the time. You can do that by adding the share link from your Google file. You could add that here and it would automatically populate that. Then you've got table views, board views, gallery views, list views. So these are all for databases. We will go through databases next. So you've also got the AI block. So if you wanted to use the AI feature, which is a paid feature, you only get a certain amount of AI use in the free version. But if you had the paid add-on for AI, you could definitely add it in and get it to summarize different things in your workspace for you. Then you've got advanced blocks where you can add buttons. So buttons can actually act like an automation. So if there's something in Notion that you're going to do on a recurring basis, you could use a button to set that up. So let's just say you wanted to click a button to add something to a page on a regular basis. That's when the type of function that you'd use a button for. A synced block you put across multiple different pages, and then you only have to update it in one place. So I tend to use a synced block for like a static menu at the top of the page. So it's sort of like a website menu where you can click through to different pages. That's how I tend to use the synced block. Then you've got toggle headings. So toggle heading means that you can have information underneath that toggle. So if I just click on one, for instance, so see here you've got a heading, so we could have test, and then you could have any text underneath that. So you could, we could have anything underneath it. It doesn't have to be text, but you could also have a bullet list. You could also have an image. So you could put anything under there and then you just close it up. So that's how toggles work. So I just used something that I didn't show you before, which is the slash key, which is a quick way to pull up the menu. So instead of the plus, you can always just hit the slash key, and it's the same menu. Okay, so that's quickly how you would use pages, and so you can customize the pages, but we'll go through that last once we've got some things to play with. So what I'm going to do first here, because we've got this section at the top, I'm just going to do a line across here. So the easiest way to do a line in Notion is actually to hit 3 dashes. So if you hit dash, 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 and it gives you a line. So that's what we're going to do there. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use one of these call out boxes. So this is a call out box. Here it's got the box going around the outside. It's got a heading, and then we can put information in it. So I'm going to create one of those. So I'm going to hit slash for the menu, and I'm just going to type call to get a call out. So see how it's coming here? I'm just going to select that. See how it's got this box, and it's automatically got an icon and a space here to type something. So I'm just going to type databases here, and then I'm going to hit enter. Now see how it takes us down underneath this? I'm just going to grab where those 6 dots are. I'm just going to grab that with my mouse, and I'm going to drag it up underneath databases to where it's got that blue solid line, and that will insert it in here. So now I can actually add things into this section. So we're going to need to add some pages into this section to have a database on. So I'm going to call this, let's put capitals on. Let's call this tasks, can't spell, database, and then we're going to have projects database. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these is I'm actually going to highlight this one, and I am going to go to where it says text here, and I'm going to go up to where it says page and select that. So see how it's turned that into, it's got an icon now and a bold heading, because that is now a separate page. So when we click on it, it's going to open up a different page. So I'm going to do the same here for the projects one. I'm going to go up to page. Okay, now we'll be able to customize this icon and everything once we open it up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the projects one first. So, and then we're going to add tasks. So if we open this one up, so just click on it, we've opened up a new page. Now I'm going to go up to these 3 dots straight away up here at the top, and we're going to go to full width and select that. Now we click out here. I like to have a line under my heading, so I'm just going to do 3 dashes, and now we've got a line there. So in this database, in order to create a database, you need to pull up your menu. So I'm using the slash key, and then it's going to be an inline database. That's what it's called. So I'm going to start typing that inline, and you can see that it appears here. So if I select that, now we have a database to start working with. So I am going to call this projects. Now it's important to give this section a name, because this is actually how you find this again in the future to link it to anything. So I'm calling that one projects. Just clicking out of it so that stays there. Now I want to rename this bit that says table. So if I right click on that and hit rename, I'm also going to call this one projects, and then I'm going to hit enter. So now that's showing there as projects, so I can actually hide this bit so that it's much neater looking. Now I'm going to change this section here that says name. I'm going to change that to say project, whoops, let's do capitals. I'm going to say project name and hit enter. Now with tags, this field could be changed to anything you like. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit edit property, and I'm going to change this type from multi-select to just select. And I'm going to call this status and hit enter. And so now underneath the options, I am going to click on that, and I'm going to say active, or let's say completed, or let's maybe just say future. So let's just have those as our options for, let's change that one to green, let's change active to yellow, and future can be grey, that's fine. So we can change the colours, sorry I should have explained that as I did it. So you can just hit that arrow beside them to change the colours to anything you like, or to delete the option if you change your mind and you don't want that option in there. And to add any more, you can just hit that plus sign. So then once we click out of it, if we were to click in here now, we have those options. You can also type in here to add more options as you go. So if we want to add more fields in here, we can just hit this plus sign and we can add in different information. Let's move me out of the way over here. Okay, so these are the options that you have in here. These are all the different fields that you could enter in. So you have text, you have numbers, this includes currency. You have select, which means that you can select one option on a list. Multi-select means, of course, you can select multiple options on a list. It has this built-in status one, but I personally don't like using this one because it comes up and it only has not started, in progress, or done. I just don't like those options. I like to have my own customizable options. You can change these as well. So you could go into edit and you could change them, but I still like to do my own. But it's there if you want to use it. So back to this menu, you do have dates, so you can put in a start date and a finish date if you wanted to, or a start date, a due date, and a due date if you wanted to. If you have people in your team, this is where you would add in like how you're going to assign tasks to somebody. You could add them into a field here. If you want to be able to upload files or media, you want to select this filter here. If you want to have a checkbox in here for some reason, you would select it there. If you want to add a URL, maybe this project needs you to go to a certain website often, you could add URLs, emails, phone numbers, formulas. Basically you could add anything you like in there. So I like to add in a few different fields like created time, and also created by, and last edited time. And you don't have to show these. If you don't want to have these sorts of things showing, you can just go up the top and hide in view. So when you hide them in view, this information is still going to populate. So when you have something open here, it's going to open up to the right hand side when you click on open, when you have an entry. And so it is going to show this information when it's opened, but it's not on this main screen. And if you hide it in here, it'll just, so if we go hide, it's going to show it here, but it's going to be on this little section that you can open and close. So it's helpful to have that information available, but you don't need to necessarily see it on the screen right in front of you all the time. But it can help you to filter out information and keep everything organized nicely, because you could sort things by the most recent activity, etc. So you've got project name, status. Maybe let's just say we have a due date. Oops, it's just a due date. And so when we select this field, you've got a full date here, and you've got a 12-hour format, or you could select 24-hour format. Let's say 48 hours for some reason. And then we can just hit enter and that's done. So now I'm going to get out of this one. I'm going to say that this database is done. Now to get back to your main section, up the top here is your cookie crumbs. So you can go back to this previous page here, or you could go back to it over on the left hand side. It's completely up to you. I find it's easier to use this menu up the top to find my way around. Okay, so we're back here now. So we've got projects created. So let's go to the tasks one now and click on that. Now we're going to go up the top here straight away to get full width, and then we're going to go dash 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 to get that line, and again we're going to go with the slash, type inline to get another database. This time we're going to call it tasks and hit enter, and then we're going to rename this table by right clicking and hitting rename, and we're going to call that tasks and hit enter. Right, now you can add in whatever information you would like in your task. So what is it that you need to track on your tasks? So let's just call this task name, and then you can have whatever you would like to have in here. But what I really want to do to show you how to do is to link it to the projects. So I'm just going to hit this plus sign, and I'm going to type in relation. So if you can see here, there's a relation. Now, when I clicked on that, it gives me a list of all the databases that I have in my workspace. So I'm going to select this one, because I can see if I go over that 3 dots, it says Notion for Beginners, so I know I'm in the right place. Now, when I select that, it's going to add projects. I'm leaving it as no limit here. I'm going to click yes to show on projects, because that will show in both the tasks and the projects, so I can link them together. And I'm just going to hit add relation. So now that it's here, you can see here, if I was to select this one, and I could say test, oops, and then we could go through to this one here, and it's got the task added to it. So let's just say we could just call this test project, and we've got that test showing here. So now there's something really important that we could do. So what we could do is we could go back to our projects database and click on that. And now over here on the right hand side where it says new, if we use this arrow that comes down, we can click on new template. So when you're editing a template, you always get this bar across the top. So what I'm going to actually do is show any tasks that relate to this project under this project. So I'm going to click in down in this section. Now what I want to do, sorry, I should name this, let's call this project tasks. And so what I'm going to do here is once I click down in this section, I'm going to do a slash, and this time we want to create a view of an existing database. So you actually type CR to create a link view of a database, or you can go through the list until you find linked view of a database, but CR is a quick way. So if I select that, now I'm going to select tasks and just select tasks there. Okay, and so it's going to show us any tasks that are available. I'm going to take that out, so we hide that. So what we want to do is hit filters. So we go to filter here, and we go to projects. And what we want to do is select project tasks. So it's only going to show us any projects for this particular, any tasks for this particular project that we're in. So if I hit save for everyone, now if we come out of this, what we're going to do is go back to this button beside new, and see the template is showing here. We want to go to those 3 dots, and we want to set that as default for all views in projects. So what that then does is, let's just say, let's delete these, right? And we're going to create a new project. So let's just say we're going to call this one test project 2. And I'm going to go back to the tasks, and I'm going to just link this. So let's just go tasks 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's link it to test project 2. Let's also do test 3, 2, 1, and let's not link it to anything, just so we can make sure that this works, right? So we go back to Notion for Beginners. We're going to go to the projects database. Now we're going to open this one up, and you can see here how it's automatically added that one in because it's assigned to that project. So now whenever we have projects, any tasks that are related to it are going to automatically populate in here. And you can also come into this project and add any tasks that you want to have linked to this project. So I could easily go, okay, let's do testing 8, 9, 10. And then it's automatically adding it to this project, as you can see here, as well as putting it on the task list. So there are things that you can do in here. So this is set up now. You could also add in anything else that you want to show up in projects. So maybe you have a specific process that you follow. So you would set all of that up in the template. So you'd go back up to this section here and you would edit your template here. So you go to edit, and then you could add anything else that you would like to have automatically show up in your template. So maybe you always have different links for your projects that you need to include, like websites that you get information from, etc. You could add all of that into this template. So basically you just have to fill it out. So that's how you could use that. So now if we come back to tasks, and we have this set up as well. So we have our tasks here. Maybe you want to add in a date. So you could have a due date. Oops. I like a due date and also a due date, so that you know when you are working on something rather than just when it's due. So I like to have both options. So basically we now have a workspace that we could use, but it's sort of all over the place, it's not together. So I tend to put it together. So I would go back to the normal workspace, and I would have these on the side. You can change the icon here, so if you just go over it, you can change the icon. So maybe tasks we have as this arrow, and maybe projects we have as, I'm just trying to think, maybe we have it as a pencil. Probably shouldn't do that because it looks more like notes, but that'll do. So basically we can have those so that they stand out and they look different. We know what's happening with them. So I would then click out of here. So, whoops, it's not going to let us past it. Oh, it did let us past. It just went out. There we go. So maybe we just delete those first. Don't want to have extra bits in there. Okay, so if we come down here, then we could enter into this view here. We could add our task list. So again, we could do a slash, and we could have a CR for a linked view of a database, and then we could select tasks. So now we have the tasks on this home page, and then again we can hide this bit by just going to hide there, and so we have our tasks there. Then we could also do the same for projects. So let's just rename this as tasks so we have it named. And we can also do the same for projects, so slash CR, and we can say projects. Is that the right one? Yep, that's it there. Okay, and then we're just going to hide that bit and rename this as projects. Okay, now it looks kind of ugly like this. So one thing that I tend to do is a toggle. So I like to have a slash and then go to find the toggle. So you could just go to toggle list and you can have it nice and small, and we could just say tasks, and then we could hit enter. We can just expand on that and see how you've got that line there. All we need to do is select those 6 dots, and we can move that database up under tasks. So we just drag it up there. Wait till you get that blue solid line and then let go. And now if you minimize that, it is underneath there. So you can do the same for projects. So if you don't already have an extra one like I just did then, you can just make sure that that toggle is closed like this and then hit enter and it'll give you another one, and you can call that projects, expand it and just grab those 6 dots and drag it up, and then it's in there as well. And so that one we can get rid of. So now you have them both there, and so you could easily start to change this layout a little bit in here. So if we wanted to move this, we could go to the side of this databases one here. So see how I've got that blue line coming up beside it? I could let go of it there, and I could do the same for projects, just drag it up underneath. And then you can see how you got this solid line coming up here in between them. You could then move that, so just drag it across so that these have more space. Now, if you click on the 6 dots, you can actually go to this color option and you could change the color. So maybe you want to have tasks as blue, maybe you want to have projects as yellow, and you could color coordinate them that way so that they stand out. The other thing you want to learn about tasks is that you want to use filters. So with filters, we want to go to the filters over here, and we want to be able to sort things out by specific dates basically for tasks, because you don't want to see every single task that you have to do on your list because it can get overwhelming. So what I tend to do is, let's just say we've got a task for today and a task for tomorrow and maybe a task for later in the month. Okay, so maybe the one that's due on the 7th is actually due the 10th. Maybe that one's due the same, and maybe this one's due on the, let's say, 22nd. Okay, so let's just take the one out that doesn't have anything on it, and let's just assign them all to that one project. Okay, so basically what we could then do is come up to this filter, and we could go sort it by the due date or the due date, whichever you prefer. I like to do the due date, as I said before, because I might want to work on something on a specific day before it's due. So I like to sort by those. So I'm going to click on due date, and then you can select, do you want, all of your tasks for the week to show up on this list, or do you just want things that you want to work on today to show on your list? So I tend to go with the day, so I might change this. So start date is relative to today, this, and we change that to day. And so that will automatically select today. And then we just hit save. So now all we're seeing are things that are on our do list for today. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to rename this, and I'm going to say today's tasks. So that's only today's tasks. Now, if I wanted to do another version, I can right click on this and hit duplicate, and then I could say this week's tasks and hit enter, and then I can filter that so that that one says this week, and then hit save. So I could flip between them. So I could say, okay, maybe I've done all of my tasks for today, what else do I have coming up this week? And I could get ahead. So I've got those. I could also say, what are all the completed tasks? So I could duplicate this, and I could say completed tasks. Whoops. And so basically, if we had a tag here that says completed, then if I hit filter, and we can remove that date one, and we add a different filter for tags, and we select completed, hit save. So anything that is marked as completed would show up here. And then we could change these ones so that we could say, okay, projects, and we could say tags does not contain completed. So anything that is marked as completed gets removed from your list. Hope that makes sense. Because you don't always want to see completed stuff. You might want to hide that once it's completed so that your list keeps shrinking. So basically that is how you can customize things. Now, once we are in this section and we have everything sort of in a database, what else can you do with the database? Well, you can present that information in different ways. So if you were to go up here to edit view, so the 3 dots here, you've got this layout option here. So you can actually go in here and you could change to a board view, a timeline, a calendar, a list view, or a gallery, depending on your preference. And then each one has different information down here that you can edit. So let's just say for a calendar, you could set it by due date or you could set it by your due date. So whatever you prefer. You could have it as a monthly calendar or you could have it as a weekly calendar. You can have weekends or turn those off. So it's completely up to you and customizable. Also, if you want to change where information opens, so if you click on this, it's currently set to center peak, which means that the information will come up in the middle of the screen. If you want it to be on the right hand side, like just on this section, you would click side peak. Or if you want it to open as a full page, you would select that. So that's basically how you do this. So it depends how you like to work. So you can completely customize this to suit yourself. So I prefer to just work from the table, but other people that I work with prefer to work from a calendar or a board view. So it's completely up to you. So if you like to drag things from status to status, you can definitely do that as well, like a Trello board. So that's the different views. So we've gone through navigating Notion's menus. I've shown you what workspaces are, what pages are. We've gone through databases, the fields that you can add in, the layouts that you can choose from, we just went through then, using relations to link databases together, using filters to filter out what information you do and don't want to see, and now we're up to customizing page layout. So customizing page layout is very much like this, and you can go through and add images or whatever it is that you would like to add. So for instance, you can add covers by hitting change cover up here, and then you can upload your own cover here, or you could go to Unsplash and you could type in whatever you're looking for and select that and add that as your cover. You can add your icons here. So when you add an icon here to your workspace, it will come up over here, and so you can see that this little arrow is also up here on that one. And that's how you can sort of differentiate your different workspaces and what you're working on, the different pages, by the icons. You could also have photos, so you could use your image, you could just upload your photo. So you can add custom ones, so you could just click on it and add a custom image, you just upload it. Okay, so in order to change the layout here, you could just drag things around. You could change this to different headings, so you could say turn into a bulleted heading number 3, and that makes the writing a lot bigger. And you could do the same here, so it could be toggle heading 3. This one has automatically put this underneath the other toggle, so we could drag that out so that is separate. Oops. There you go, so that they're 2 separate things. You could add an image down here. Let's say we wanted to add an image, we could do that. Again, you could upload your own image, or you could get something from Unsplash. Maybe we wanted to add some florals. Maybe we find a nice bright picture like this one. Okay, that's a bit too big, isn't it? So we can drag that in by just grabbing the side of it, where you get that arrow on either side, and you can just sort of drag it. Maybe you want to have that down underneath here, so we could have that there. We could line that up with the one above, so it sort of looks nice on the side. We could add a YouTube video. Maybe we wanted to add a Loom video and show someone how to use the workspace. So you could easily just hit /Loom, and you could add a Loom video. and you just paste in that URL. So we could drag that up here, so maybe that comes up first and shows people how to use this workspace. You could add these call outs that I have here. So you can go, okay, use the slash, and then you could go to columns, so right down the bottom, or you could just type in column. I'm just showing you how long this list is. So you could have 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns, 5 columns going across. So let's just say we select 3 columns. You can see that one's here, that one's here, that one's there. So we could easily say, okay, let's drag this video here, let's drag the tasks here, and let's drag the projects here. So you can manipulate your area to be really custom for what you want. Doesn't give you much room there though, so maybe you could move it in here, and maybe you decide, okay, I want to put projects under here. So once that is out of there, we can just delete it if it didn't already automatically delete, and then it just sort of resizes everything for you. So it's completely customizable. You can just drag things around. You can just add more things from the menu. You can embed things. So you can embed your Loom, you can embed Google Sheets or Google Docs, or anything that you need to have in your workspace all the time. So it is completely customizable. So I just wanted to go through all of this because I know it can be really overwhelming when you first start using Notion and you open it up and it's sort of like a blank workspace. So I really wanted to go through this just so that you can get a good feel for it and you can figure out how you can use it for your business. So personally, I like to tweak things on a regular basis and change things up. So it's completely up to you what you do with it. But it has that flexibility. So if you are also someone that doesn't like the same thing all the time and likes to change things and move with the times, then you can change yours as well, and you can add in things as your business expands. You can change things as things like change in your business. You can just take things out and add things in. It's just so flexible. So I am going to be doing some workshops to help you to build some workspaces. So I'd really love it if you could join me. So feel free to join my free community. You can see the address here. So it's just called Systems Fix on the Skool.com platform. If you join the community, you can join me live for these builds, which will be held in a video call. And I will be recording the replay and putting that into the free community as well, along with templates for the basic template builds that we do. So I am going to do them based on what people request. So if there's anything at all that you really need help with, please join the community and let me know what it is that you need help with, and we can add that to our list for some future workshops. So thank you so much for joining me today, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always happy to help. All right, have a fantastic day.